You about that. Everything is a constant drip now. And then, of course, what was really important was that photograph of Meghan the day after they announced the christening and the prince and princess, that she went to this coffee place. It was what could be called the victory photograph. This was Meghan riding high. She'd scored another one against Buckingham Palace. They really are not very good in Buckingham Palace at anticipating this huge existential threat.
Welcome to Royal Daily Report, your trusted source for the questions the palace won't answer. Sometimes the loudest alarm isn't a siren, it's silence. And in the official announcement of Lilibet Diana's birth, that silence was impossible to ignore. In royal tradition, when a baby is born, a very specific sentence is always included. It is hundreds of years old and never changes. It says, "The Duchess was safely delivered of a son or daughter." It's simple, it's clear, and most importantly, it confirms the mother gave birth. But when Meghan released her announcement, that sentence was missing. Instead, the statement said Harry and Meghan had welcomed a daughter. A soft phrase, a gentle phrase, but not the royal phrase. Subscribe to Royal Daily Report now. Don't miss what was removed. Sources close to royal historians said that missing line wasn't an accident. It wasn't a creative choice. It wasn't modern wording. It was a removal of the one sentence that proved Meghan physically gave birth. For a royal child, that is not a small detail. It is the one detail that matters most. And for the first time, people began to ask the question. The palace refused to touch. Why would Meghan avoid confirming that she delivered her own child? To understand how serious that missing sentence is, we need to look at how royal births normally work. Royal announcements are not artistic. They are not poetic. They are not emotional letters to the public. They are legal records wrapped in formal language, written with the same precision as a contract. That's why they almost never change. For decades, even centuries, every royal baby announcement has followed the same pattern, because clarity protects the line of succession. No confusion, no loopholes, no doubts. But Meghan and Harry's wording broke every expectation. Stay tuned to Royal Daily Report. We reveal the palace's response. Not only did their own statement avoid confirming physical birth, the palace mirrored their language. Instead of saying the Duchess of Sussex was safely delivered of a daughter, the palace simply repeated, "The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have welcomed a daughter." Insiders say the palace used the Sussex wording exactly because they had no verified information of their own. In diplomatic work, this is called information distancing. When an institution repeats someone else's claim without taking responsibility for its truth, it's the kind of subtle move that only becomes obvious in hindsight. And it left a single heavy question hanging in the air. If the palace themselves didn't declare Meghan gave birth, did they know something they weren't saying? The suspicion didn't begin with Lily. It started years earlier on the day Archie was born. The palace released an official announcement that morning, but within hours it was pulled down, rewritten, and corrected. A royal birth announcement has never needed to be corrected in modern history. Sources close to palace staff said the problem wasn't with the palace. It was with the information Harry and Meghan provided. There were mismatched details, conflicting times, inconsistencies that made the announcement look careless. Don't forget to subscribe to Royal Daily Report for the Archie mysteries. And suddenly, a pattern began to form. Strange wording, unconfirmed locations, no listed doctors, no standard phrasing, a corrected announcement. These were not tiny errors. These were foundational cracks in a moment that demanded absolute clarity. For the first time, royal advisors reportedly felt they were being kept in the dark by two people who knew the importance of royal protocol and chose to break it anyway. And with that, the early mystery was set. A mystery built not on speculation, but on what was written and what wasn't. As the years passed, the questions didn't fade. They grew sharper. Because even with Archie's birth, one detail never appeared. The place. Every royal baby for generations has had a clearly confirmed birthplace. It's not optional. It's not a fun fact. It's a legal necessity. But in Archie's case, sources say something unheard of happened. No hospital confirmed it. No doctor confirmed it. And no official registry ever matched the palace's claim. To this day, there is no verified hospital, no named medical team, no confirmed witnesses, no documentation released, just silence. Insiders familiar with royal tradition said it was unprecedented. Even more shocking, Archie and Lilibet became the first royal children in modern history, placed in the line of succession without public verification of their birth origins. Royal Daily Report, bringing you the unprecedented crisis. Think about that. A monarchy built entirely on bloodlines, accepting 2 children without confirming the most basic requirement, where they were born and who delivered them. No matter how innocent or accidental it might be, it remains a blank page in a chapter where royal history demands clear ink. And that blank page becomes far more alarming when we move from Archie's paperwork to Lilibet's. Here's where things get very interesting, because when people look deeper into Lilibet's birth certificate, something strange appeared, not in the wording, but in the numbers. Most people know birth certificates list the date of birth, but they also carry another hidden code that the average person never notices, the birth registration number. In California, these numbers begin with 104. It's the state code. Every child born there gets it, but Lilibet's document, according to those who examined it, the number begins with 105, which allegedly aligns with an entirely different state. Not California, not Montecito, not even the West Coast. It doesn't mean the certificate is fake. It doesn't mean anything illegal was done, but it means this document does not follow the numbering pattern of California births, and no explanation was ever given. For a normal family, it wouldn't matter. But for a royal child, the child placed into the line of succession, every detail suddenly matters. Subscribe now to Royal Daily Report. We expose the document codes. And the deeper people dug into Lilibet's paperwork, the more unusual the surrounding timeline appeared. Because right after this questionable document came to light, another figure entered the story. A figure who raised even more questions. In royal history, the doctors who deliver royal babies often become quiet public icons. Their names appear in newspapers. Their statements help confirm legitimacy. Their medical role becomes part of history. But in the case of Lilibet, the doctor allegedly responsible did something unexpected, according to sources familiar with medical licensing records. The doctor who reportedly delivered Lilibet ended her practice just 2 weeks later. No interview, no public statement, no record tying her name to the royal birth. Just a sudden stop. It isn't illegal. It isn't proof of wrongdoing. But in a story already filled with missing sentences, unusual wording, and conflicting documents, this abrupt exit became another thread in the tapestry of unanswered questions. Doctors don't typically vanish from their profession after delivering a world-famous child. They are often celebrated for it. Yet here, the silence was total. And combined with the missing witnesses, the unconfirmed birthplace, and the unexpected document code, this single action made many quietly wonder, was the palace distancing itself? Was the doctor distancing herself? Or was everyone caught in a situation nobody fully understood? Royal Daily Report, your window into the doctor's disappearance. This is where the mystery stops being about paperwork and begins touching real people. Staff, professionals, insiders, each stepping back, each leaving a space where answers should have been. But this is where the story becomes even more unsettling, because now we move from documents and timelines to human testimony, family secrets, and the royal rules that determine a child's legitimacy. While the documents raise questions, the most surprising detail didn't come from paperwork at all. It came from someone who lived inside the Montecito home, someone who saw the day-to-day life behind the fortress-like privacy. According to this former staff member, she worked in the house during the exact period Meghan would have been in her final stages of pregnancy with Lilibet. And during all those months, she says she never saw a bump, not once. She described Meghan as polished, active, constantly moving around the home, but never appearing physically pregnant. When this witness later watched Harry and Meghan's Netflix series and saw scenes portraying Meghan with a large belly, she reportedly felt stunned. She believed she was looking at a moment from a pregnancy she had never witnessed in real time. This isn't evidence. It isn't proof, but it is first-hand observation. And in an investigation built on missing details, personal testimony becomes its own kind of spotlight. Don't forget to subscribe to Royal Daily Report for witness testimonies. Her words added something new, a human thread, something not written in a file or stamped on a certificate, something that painted a picture of a home filled with secrecy, caution, and performances crafted for cameras long after the real moments had passed. But even this wasn't the most unsettling claim that came next. Among the many threads circling Meghan's past, one stood out sharply. Her own half-brother once claimed that Meghan had undergone a hysterectomy in her early 20s. If true, even allegedly, this would make natural pregnancy impossible. That claim alone does not prove anything. But within the swirl of unanswered questions surrounding Archie and Lilibet's births, it added another layer of doubt, and another reason some people began looking twice at the Sussexes' choices. Because if a hysterectomy had truly happened, then the missing line in the announcement, the odd document codes, the unconfirmed hospital details, all of it would suddenly make a different kind of sense. Real or not, factual or not, the claim stands as part of this larger picture. A story filled with inconsistencies and contradictions, each pointing to the same quiet question no one in the palace has answered directly. Did Meghan Markle actually carry and deliver her children? This question becomes even more important when we look at the rules the monarchy has lived by for centuries. Asterisk, asterisk, Royal Daily Report, bringing you the royal succession rules. Asterisk, asterisk, long before cameras, tabloids, and social media, royal families created simple laws to protect their bloodlines. These rules didn't need glamour. They didn't need drama. They needed one thing: certainty. For a child to be placed in the line of succession, requirements must be met. 1. The child must be born of a man and a woman. 2. The couple must be legally married in the Church of England. 3. The child must be conceived naturally, for the child must be born from the body of the mother. This final requirement is the foundation of royal legitimacy. It's why birth witnesses were once required. It's why palace doctors historically confirmed births. It's why royal announcements must be precise. And yet, in the case of Archie and Lilibet, none of these confirmations were presented publicly. Not the doctors, not the hospital, not the witnesses, not the standard phrasing, only silence. Which brings us to the final chapter, the part of the story that moves from mystery to something much larger. By now, the story no longer rests on a single detail. It is a chain link, each piece connected to the next. A missing sentence, a broken tradition, a corrected announcement, a misplaced document code, a doctor who walked away, a witness who saw nothing, a family secret that refuses to disappear, and a centuries-old rule the palace never confirmed was met. Subscribe to Royal Daily Report now and hit the bell icon. Together, these details create something more powerful than scandal. They create silence wrapped in consequences. Because behind every royal ceremony, every portrait, every polished photograph, there is one rule the monarchy cannot escape. If the bloodline is uncertain, the future of the crown becomes uncertain. And insiders say that is the crisis quietly unfolding behind the scenes. This isn't a shout. It's not a dramatic confrontation in a palace hallway. It's the slow kind of crisis, the kind that grows in whispers, sealed documents, and decisions made behind closed doors. A crisis where the palace refuses to confirm and Meghan refuses to clarify, where the truth may exist but remains locked behind a wall of royal caution and personal secrecy. And that leaves one final chilling question drifting through the corridors of history. What happens to a monarchy when certainty disappears and the truth is replaced by silence? That is the story unfolding now. Not with trumpets, not with declarations, not with public statements, but with a missing sentence that should have been there and wasn't. And the day that sentence disappeared is the day royal history may have quietly begun to rewrite itself. This was Royal Daily Report, uncovering the missing sentence that threatens the crown. Subscribe now and stay informed on every missing detail that matters. Stay connected with Royal Daily Report, where silence speaks louder than words.